And I'm like, read the book, I'm not gonna do your book report for you. Welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. My name is Salva and today I'm going to be sharing with you the most anticipated releases I have for the rest of 2020. Not gonna lie, this idea came up because I ran out of ideas. So I thought, why not talk about the books that have yet to be released for this year and which ones I'm most excited about. So I went on to Goodreads, and if you don't know, Goodreads does compile lists of upcoming releases by month, which is so convenient. If I do miss out on a release that was really obvious, you can yell at me in the comment section. Also, I decided to divide this into two parts. I decided to make the first video, today's video, contemporary books that I'm looking forward to and thriller books that I'm looking forward to, and then next week we're gonna do fantasy and sci-fi. I have had like family, friends, and friends message me like, oh, what are good insert genre recommendations? So I wanted to divide this up by genre so they could know which video to reference. But for now, let's dive into my most anticipated thrillers and contemporary novels for the rest of 2020. For this video, I have 12 books that I wanted to share, and most of them are actually standalones or first books in a series. Something I wanted to do while compiling these lists was I wanted to try as much as possible not to add like sequels to the list, because I wanted this video to be a recommendation thing and for you to discover new books. And if I was just gonna talk about like, oh, the fourth book in a series, you'd be like, I don't care about that because I'm not a fan of the series or I haven't read the first books. That being said, the first entry on this list is also the only sequel on this list, and it is Majesty by Katharine McGee. It is the second book in the American Royal series. I mean, I would consider it contemporary. I wouldn't say it's fantasy or sci-fi, which is why I put it in this category. And it's set in a world where instead of George Washington becoming the first president of the USA, he becomes the first king of the USA. And fast forward many years into the future, the next in line to the throne is going to be the first queen. And the first book has 4 POVs, 2 royals, 2 non-royals. So the sequel obviously picks up where the first book left off, and I'm sure it's going to pick up where it left off. I said that with such emphasis because the first book ended on quite the cliffhanger for all the characters involved. Oh, so I can't wait to see what happens in the sequel. I will try giving American Royals a reread before the sequel comes out, because while I enjoyed it, my expectations for it was just so high that it didn't quite meet it. So I have high hopes for rereading it and high hopes for the sequel, and I hope that my least favorite character doesn't get a happy ending. Haha! The second book I'm looking forward to is a thriller, and it is called Even If We Break by Marika Nijkamp. There is nothing I know about this book, but that's what makes me excited for it. First of all, the cover. Second of all, the summary on Goodreads is one of the shortest summaries I've ever seen, and it just says, and I quote, 5 friends go to a cabin, 4 of them are hiding secrets, 3 years of history bind them, 2 are doomed from the start, 1 person wants to end this. No one is safe. Are you ready to play? And the cover and the summary reminds me a little bit of 10 by Gretchen McNeil, which was a modern retelling of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And I actually did do a book review of it way back, if you can find it on my channel. And oddly enough, people ask me on that for like book report information, and I'm like, read the book. I'm not gonna do your book report for you. So I think it's gonna be one of those murder mysteries or one of those, you know, what do you call it? Slasher movies, slasher books, where they get picked off one by one. So honestly, the mystery of the summary is what intrigued me, and I am very excited for it to come out. The next book I am looking forward to is also a thriller, because I said that at the beginning of this video. Thrillers. Duh. This one is called These Vengeful Hearts by Catherine Lauren. This is a high school mystery, and in this particular high school, Heller High, there is a mysterious elite group called the Red Court. They're at the top of the food chain, and we follow our protagonist, Ember, who years ago her sister was paralyzed because of something the Red Court did. It's sort of like, if you want a favor done, they'll get it done, but for a price, and they will make your life miserable if you go against them, kind of thing. So what Ember does is, in retaliation for her sister's paralysis, she goes undercover the Red Court to break apart this organization or this clique. I do love stories of revenge because you never know if they're gonna get Stockholmed or if they really will end up breaking apart what they sought to break apart. I mean, odds are it's a high school mystery. She's probably gonna fall in love with one of the members of the Red Court. The next book is also a thriller, and I'm really excited about this one because it sounds like a family saga with mysteries and long buried secrets, and it is called White Fox by Sarah Ferris. sharing. It's about two sisters, Manon and Thais. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Their mother was this really acclaimed screenwriter who disappeared mysteriously. They were sent away from home by their dad, and years later they come back to their old home on an island and they find their mother's lost manuscript, or screenplay rather. First of all, I love sister books. I've said this millions of times on this channel, but because I don't have sisters of my own, whenever sisters are the main plot of a story, I'm always so intrigued. And long buried family secrets and mysterious disappearances, sign me up! So the next thriller I am looking forward to is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily Danforth. And the story is, there is this old boarding school for girls. I'm already intrigued and already kind of scared. There are these two friends who are obsessed with this author. They have like a secret hideout on the school grounds, and one day both of them are found dead at their secret hiding spot. And it says, the Brookend School for Girls closes its doors forever, but not before 3 more people mysteriously die on the property, each in a most troubling way. So years after that, filmmakers come to the school, and there are 2 girls who are playing the 2 dead girls at the beginning of the story, and I'm assuming crap goes down. The next book I am looking forward to, oh, this one I feel like a lot of people will like this because podcasts are involved. Maybe I'm overhyping podcasts just a bit, but I know a lot of people who love podcasts. It's called I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan, and our heroine is a girl named Dee, and she is known in her town as the girl who survived because when she was a kid, her best friend was kidnapped and never found, and she was the one left to tell the tale. Now that she's grown up, she runs a podcast called Radio Silent, and it focuses on missing persons cases, and nobody knows that she's the one behind this podcast. And then another girl goes missing, so that's where the story begins. I feel like all these summaries, because they're summaries, I never know how to end it with, because it's like, and now I guess they're gonna solve the case. I'm really excited for this because I love podcasts, I love true crime. Also, the cover is purple, which I am very, very biased towards. If I had all these 12 books right in front of me and I had to choose which one to read first, it would probably be this one because I've just been so obsessed with podcasts lately, so I'm really excited for this one as well. That was a big fat lie because I just saw what was next on my list and it's probably, no, I'm looking forward to this one as well. It's called Those Who Pray by Jennifer Moffat. From the summary, I will give you an abridged version. Girl goes to college. Girl feels uncomfortable in college. She's going through the adjustment period. Girl meets this group called The Kingdom, and they welcome her and she becomes a part of it, and they say, hey, come on a trip with us to Italy for the summer. They go, they confiscate her cell phone. Are they really a cult? I mean, the only thing I love more than podcasts in general are true crime podcasts, and the only thing I love more than true crime podcasts are true crime podcasts that focus on cults. I don't know how indelicate this might sound, but I feel like there aren't enough cult books out there. Most of them are like religious cults. I want to find like a creepy murder cult. Although some religious cults are evil, I'll give you that. Another murder mystery. I am not coming off as like the sanest person. Don't deny it, you're all interested in true crime just like I am. The next book is called Lies Like Poison by Chelsea Pitcher, and the story is there are these 4 best friends who find out that one of their best friends is being abused by their stepfather, and they had to plot to poison him. They all chicken out of it, but then years later he actually does end up getting poisoned, and one of them is accused, and now she gets sent to prison, and they have to prove her innocence while figuring out what the heck went wrong, what the heck happened, we all backed out of this plot, what is going on right now. It sounds very promising, and also look at that cover. I love how the petal just slowly turns into a puddle of blood, but I think what drew me to it is how eccentric it was that the 3 heroines are called Poppy, Lily, and Belladonna. I don't know if they're sisters or if they live in a weird world where everyone is just named after a flower, but it's so eerie that I'm very excited also to pick it up. Finally, sorry about that, but let's take a little break from thrillers and go back to the land of contemporary. The next book I'm looking forward to is called Zara, Hussain is Here by Sabina Khan. This story is about an immigrant family from Pakistan and their 17-year-old daughter, Zara. They're waiting for their green cards to get approved, and right now they're on a dependent visa, so they gotta be on their best behavior, but one day one of the jocks at school sets Zara off and she retaliates. All it says in the summary is that it is leading to a violent crime that puts Zara's entire future at risk. I think it's gonna be a heavy but important and powerful read. I'm just so sorry. We're going right back to thrillers and dark things and serial killers. The next book I am looking forward to is Pretty Broken Things by Melissa Marr. Once again, there is a serial killer on the loose, and there has only been one surviving victim, and she is an heiress, and it's from the points of view, I think, of the heiress and the mortician who wants to track her down to find the killer, and also a novelist who also wants to track the heiress down because he wants her as inspiration for his book. In the summary, it says their worlds collide. This one looks like it's definitely up my alley. Moving on to, you guessed it, another thriller. I realized that while I said this video was going to be contemporaries and thrillers, it's really mostly thrillers and like 3 contemporary novels. The next book I'm looking forward to is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I have actually read one of her previous books. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was bad. I didn't read the sequel, but I would read future books from her. Do you know that sweet spot of like not good, not bad, room for improvement kind of thing? So there are 3 cousins. All of their parents were disowned and they don't know why. They've lived apart from their grandmother until one summer when their grandmother invites them back to her island resort and like, yeah, come work with me, use this as a summer job. All their parents are like, no, do it, go. For one thing, I love family sagas, but also, I mean, that cover, look at that. Again, you'll see a common theme running through all these books I'm excited for. It's like families coming apart and coming together again. Nobody knows why. I mean, if I am a splurgy kind of person, the rest of this year will be a very mysterious one indeed if I grab all these books, but I doubt I will. You've been on this channel long enough, you'll know that I say, oh my god, I'm so excited for this book, and then I won't read it until like 2 years later. I will call myself out on that, but first, I am a slow reader, despite what some of you may think. So 2 years is actually a reasonable amount of time for me to get to a book on my TBR because of so many books I have to get to. Every time I say I'm excited to read this, excited means I'll be reading it within the next 2 years. The last book I can't wait for, and this is really like, if I get my hands on a copy, I will read this right away. My last anticipated release is called Heiress, apparently, and it's part of the Daughters of the Dynasty series by Diana Ma. I will just read the first blurb from the summary. The first book in an epic and romantic YA series following the fictionalized descendants of the only officially recognized Empress Regent of China. That sounds so exciting. I am so there. It's insane. Do you know that quote? It's from She's the Man. Shout out if you recognize that reference. I was watching it the other day. It was when Eunice was like, I'm so there. It's insane. Anyway, I digress. I feel like this book has everything I ever want. First of all, it has Asian characters and an Asian heroine. So plus. Said Asian heroine is also an aspiring actress. Plus too. She gets the opportunity to go to Beijing to audition for Madame Butterfly. And then when she's there, she's like hounded by paparazzi. And she's like, huh? And then I think it turns into a Lizzie McGuire movie sort of situation where it turns out she looks exactly like one of the royals. I'm guessing that the reveal is she's actually a royal. So royal plus. This sounds like the book of my soul. This is supposed to be released on December 1st, 2020. And it was one of the last books I saw when researching this list. I feel like it was the perfect cherry on top for this list because first of all, it wasn't a thriller. Second, just all the plot points tick off everything I could possibly want in a YA book. So those are the 12 releases that I am greatly looking forward to for the rest of 2020 in the contemporary and thriller genre. Let me know in the comments down below if any of the books I've mentioned intrigue you and now you're excited about it as well. You can follow me on my other bookish adventures on Twitter and Instagram. I'm both at cuckooforbooks. Please subscribe and I will see you guys next week for part 2 of this series. Bye guys!